can I ask you something? And regardless of what the reason is, I think it's an interesting question, regardless of what the reason is for your answer. The important thing is just to try to figure out what the answer is. And also to know that it's a stupid fucking question because it's not going to be just one or the other. So, are you in protection mode or evolution mode? So, really, that doesn't even really exist. Well, evolution mode, most of our programming is for protection mode. So we are generally going to be closer to the motivated by safety and protection end of the spectrum than motivated by novelty and growth. So I just want to make that very clear, is that there is no such thing. It's a very good question, and I want to talk about it. But once I asked the question, I realized, oh, that's stupid. Because you can't just turn on evolution mode. You can't just be, oh yeah, I'm someone who wants to learn, develop, I want to evolve, I want to progress, etc. Okay. No, even if part of you wants that, there are other parts, other reactions that are going to work against that. So if someone tells you, hey, you need to evolve, if you were 100% in evolution mode, if that was possible, then if someone said you need to evolve, your first and only question, thought, and feeling would be, how? But even if that question does come to mind, there's going to be a lot of other thoughts and feelings if someone tells you, hey, you're under-evolved. Because we're human. Neo, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. Neo! Come here. So, who is out there? So anyway, oh, nice palm trees. So anyway, but it matters in that, do you have at least a few voices, a few lines of your programming, a few instincts to prefer progress over protection? When someone points out a mistake, are all of your voices going, that wasn't a mistake and here's why? Or at least some of your voices going, what would be better and why might this be wrong? Are you someone who you have fears of certain things and you do nothing but protect them? Or do you have some instinct to challenge them? Like, or even if you're afraid of roller coasters, you just say, oh, I don't like how it makes me feel. By the way, you're allowed to, if it makes you feel nauseous, you don't have to do roller coasters. But if you're afraid of heights, or if you have safety concerns about the roller coaster, that would seem to me a fear to respond to, a fear to challenge. So do you challenge your fears? Do you seek to expose yourself to things to reduce those fears, to reduce the power of those fears? Or do you justify those fears? Do you protect those fears and say, oh yeah, no, I never do that because I'm afraid of that? And that's the way that it is and will always be. If you have a preference for something, and maybe you have a little pet peeve. I have a lot of pet peeves. So if we take a pet peeve of mine, of people, gosh, I can't help but feel that my pet peeves of courtesy are justified, so I'm not ready to tackle one of those yet. I used to have a pet peeve about people posting when they're invited to something. Like back in the old days, Facebook, well, I don't know whether it does still, but you would have this event and you would invite everybody to your birthday thing. And I had a huge pet peeve, and I never created an event for this reason, because I hated the idea of seeing people. I hated how whenever I was invited to something, I would look on the wall and it would just be a bunch of people saying, sorry, I can't make it. Why the fuck would you do that? Let's keep the energy up. If you can't make it, go fuck off. Send the person a message. We don't need an event page with 30 people saying, sorry, I won't be able to make it. Especially it's a birthday party. The person wants to attract people. And when you click on the event, it's 30 people saying, hope you guys have a good time. Anyway, so that was a pet peeve. But as much as I tried to justify it now, it's not really justified. And it's poorly justified, maybe. And so it's something that really I needed to get over. And I also needed to understand that the real reason for that pet peeve was the fear that if I ever made an event page, then all those people who aren't coming to my party are going to announce it to the world. It's not like people were posting comments. I mean, there were maybe like 1 out of 10 comments in my memory of these interactions would be, oh, cool, can't wait. But most of them would be like, anyway. And so that fear of that made me just really hate that behavior. And so I had a choice, and I kept making the wrong choice. My choice was to continue to justify that, complain about people who post, and blah, blah, and to sort of protect this fear and this instinct and this concern that I have and just consider it justified. And they're the ones who are fucking up for violating my concern, my pet peeve. And then eventually, maybe just because this whole event page thing stopped sort of existing, but at some point, that went away. And maybe it was because a couple of my instincts no longer wanted to protect it. Maybe it was because, oh, you softy. Fuck! And it's like, you, Neil, chill out, please. Come here. Stick your head out. Come here. Look, alright, there they are. They're over there. They'll be back soon to charge the vehicle up. Okay, so, so I challenged that. And I've had a lot of other fears. Fear of spiders, or just fear of different things. And I tried to challenge them. Rather than justify and protect. Rather than ask other people to abide my silly pet peeves. Now, you're gonna walk on the fucking right if you're walking with me. No, sometimes I even let people walk on the left. Or I just whisper so they're forced to join me on the right side path. So anyway. So that's my question. Which way are you trying to push yourself? Or which way are you letting yourself go? Protection or progress? And if it isn't clear, my preference would be for progress and not protection. Because I don't think there's really anything worth protecting in what we're born with or what, what the world taught us. I think everything is just a starting point that's worth some reconsideration. If you're someone who doesn't like when people eat with their mouths open, maybe you'll say it's gross, I hate this sound, blah, blah. But I don't believe that you would have evolved. That could be an innate thing to not like hearing people eat. I just don't see how that could be in any way advantageous. I mean, staying quiet when there's predators around, sure. But when you're eating, you're at home, you have fire, you have the dogs, you're supposed to be celebrating, socializing, interacting, fucking talking. And now if you open your mouth just to respond to a question, you have something in your mouth, comment directly. So, okay, all right, get down. Get down. So that's a pet peeve of mine. People who complain about hearing other people eating or people eating with their mouth open because it's fucking stupid. Same thing for picking your nose. Same thing for scratching here. As long as you're not, then serving someone with your hand food. Anyway, so, I think it's often women that complain about the noise or about people eating their mouths open. Maybe that's not even true. I know my dad has a lot more concerns about that than my mom does because he's English and my mom's a Black American. So obviously there's some cultural differences there. But And it makes sense because women, though, they will, I mean, I guess they must, it must be automatic now, so it doesn't take much concentration. But they'll be in a movie theater fucking sucking on popcorn. They'll be sneezing. So of course they're mad at us. They're mad at other people who didn't put all this effort in order to silently eat crunchy things. Listen, I can get bothered by people talking in the movie theater. I've never been bothered by somebody eating popcorn. It's so dumb. And I bet someone will say, oh no, I like it better that way. I don't believe you, actually, unless it's sugared popcorn. But if it's salty popcorn, there's just no way that is better to just soak it on your tongue. You must be getting so thirsty. And part of the fun of popcorn is just, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but listen, that's part of the fun for me. Hey, can you explain that main character to me? But anyway, so, I thought we were going to just leave it at 10 minutes. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to say. Is that for your pet peeves and for your general personality and for your peurs, which is fear in French, are you in protection mode, or do you try your best to have some thoughts and feelings that we might consider more in progress mode, more in humble mode, more in, gosh, should that bother me that my coworker is eating loudly at her table? So A, you can figure out how to say something, and it's probably going to be too subtle. Person's not going to notice. You're going to think they're an asshole. Or, what if you didn't even think about how to say something? Or, if you said something because there's nothing you could do about it right now, you had to focus on this thing and that's driving you crazy. And you say, hey, I'm an idiot. People eating bothers me. And I'm trying to work on that. And I know it's just, I've been working on it, just takes a little while. I have to ask you pardon, please, because I just have to finish this thing. I'd go somewhere else, but is there any way that you could just not eat? Or that you could eat more quietly? And then, here's what we can do. Try eating right now. Okay, lower the volume. Try again. Good, okay, try to do that. Try to bite like that, chew like that 3 times in a row to make sure that you can maintain the volume. You see on the other one, yeah, but you heard it? Okay, cool. So maybe if we just start with a starting volume lower, then if it automatically is going to increase anyway, we can still keep it below the threshold of what's going to bother me and what I consider completely justified in being upset by and being annoyed by. Thank you. So that's obviously one option. And then the other option is what I had started earlier. I'm so sorry. I'm going to work on this, and I promise to never ask you this again. Could I ask you to just, I don't know, but then you could still have the volume discussion. Why not just avoid it all? I just said tonight, I swear, I'm going to go home and I'm going to listen to audios of people eating, because people actually should be allowed to just eat. And if they're focused on their work and not focused on keeping their mouth closed, or not focused on letting the food soak long enough before they dare to chew it, maybe we train ourselves to be okay about that. I don't know. But no pressure, right? So, protection or progress regarding your peur, personnalité, and stuff. Anyway, there are a bunch of P words and pet peeves and politeness. Yeah, maybe we just shouldn't take for granted all the stupid things that bother us. And I, of course, I don't know what stupid things bother me, so that's why we need other people. So put in the comments if you noticed a thing that I seem to get bothered by. You don't think I should be bothered by? Probably won't agree, because on this channel, when I get bothered, it's a lack of critical thinking thing. maybe you're right. Maybe there's another approach. All right. Have a good one, guys.